All right, Jasmine, thanks so much again for doing this. My first question that I had for you is tell the audience a little bit about yourself and how you started in the community.
Yeah, sure. So my name is Jasmine Eythrib. I'm a licensed professional counselor, and um, I've been doing this work for about 6 years now. And I am a counselor and business owner of a private practice called Resonance Healing. I specialize in doing trauma therapy and couples therapy.
hmm So, what is it that you do in your current role?
So I'm the owner of my practice. I see a lot of like either couples or clients individually. I also do some clinical supervision for new therapists looking towards independent licensure. In my role, I do a lot of a trauma therapy and kind of take a lens into helping other people heal from just the past experiences that they've been through that may be contributing to some of the issues that they're currently dealing with. It's kind of spelled a little bit into my journey as a therapist because when I was going through my graduate studies and studying how to be a therapist in general, I had thought it might have been a good idea, excuse me, for me to, look into my own therapy. And at first I was kind of taking it into like, oh, just professionally, this is something that I think would be good for me of like experiencing what it's like to be on the other side on the couch. And what I found actually is working with the great therapist that I've been seeing for a few years here is that helping me heal from some of my past trauma would actually help improve my life. I think I got such a deeper understanding as to how the trauma and the past that we've all experienced, our history, whatever that might be, it could be actually blocking us from the future and how we want to be in the future. And so it's been a long journey professionally and personally of being able to work through some of that old stuff and help with my own mental health. And I think that's helped me be just a better person in general when I'm showing up in the room with my clients, because I know what it's like inside and out to do this kind of hard work.
hmm So, tell me a little bit about some of the modalities that you use with your clients, because I'm assuming you see patients with a variety of different issues.
Yeah, yeah. So I've seen a variety of different issues, just like you said, of people coming in with different goals. Sometimes I see common themes because I think that we're all humans and we just want to feel seen, heard, and loved. And I see common themes of people wanting to feel more confident or wanting to feel more love for themselves or have better relationships with others. And so, no matter what kind of symptoms that people are coming in with, right, if it's anxiety or depression or OCD, whatever it is, we kind of at the end of the day still have the same conversation of how do I want to feel in the future? How do I want to feel about myself, more importantly, when it's in the future here? And so, in terms of my modality, I do, work with a variety of different people and from different backgrounds, doing eye movement desensitization and reprocessing, which is a type of therapy that was built originally to help people heal from trauma, though I think it's kind of expanded more into just helping people work towards the kind of person that they want to be in the future, no matter what happened in the past. So it's kind of focusing on healing the past, working on the present, and working towards the future in that way. Um, I also learned a few different interventions of how to help heal that, help people heal in their bodies. No matter what type of therapy that I do, I kind of look at a person from how can we heal from a top-down approach or bottom up, where it could be from a top-down approach of how can we work through some of those mental barriers that we have, the narratives and beliefs that we tell ourselves that keep us from reaching our goals and achieving what we want in life. Also, kind of work from a bottom-up approach of what how can we reconnect with the body and the emotions that are there, the body sensations that are activating for us? How can we reconnect and heal that relationship between our mind and our body so that we're just more in alignment with ourselves? And I think that when we can feel really connected on both levels, then we can really be our most authentic selves. And that, at the end of the day, is what helps us achieve anything that we want to achieve in life.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that is really important. Because oftentimes I've heard this from a friend, like if you focus on loving yourself and healing yourself, it can lead you to great things and great opportunities, whether that be work, or finding love or whatever. But yeah.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think, when people come into therapy, I can't resolve maybe their financial situation or what's happening at work. Like, some of these things isn't really what we're working towards. It's more of working on how can I be fully in alignment and just have everything instead of me fighting with myself. Like, oh, part of me wants this relationship, but then another part of me is sabotaging it. Right? And it's keeping me from really finding the love that I want in my life. I
Mm-hmm.
think when we can just feel really whole and just feel so in alignment, like what I say is what I do, and it's in alignment with my goals and my values, that's when we're at our best to be able to handle life's challenges.
Yeah, it's like this voice in our heads, like we're not good enough, we're not strong enough to do this, you know?
Mm-hmm, absolutely. Yeah. And these are just the narratives we tell ourselves, and we don't realize how controlling they are in our life. If I'm feeling like I'm not good enough, I'm gonna bring in that energy to everything that I'm doing, my relationships, my work, my family, my everyday life, my friends. And so it really, keeps us from being our best selves. And so, yeah, that's the stuff that I love working with my clients and helping them heal from so that they can feel free from all of those narratives that are holding them back.
Yeah. So my next question is, tell me a little bit about the impact that doing this kind of work has on not just yourself. Like, what have you learned in doing this process, but also like, what do you hope to learn like in the future, like learning, trying new things?
Yeah, I am as I've been doing EMDR, eye movement desensitization and reprocessing, that kind of therapy, or also doing couples work. I've just fallen more and more in love with what I do each day. I feel extremely blessed being in love with my work and it not really feeling too much like work. And so, I'm really excited to take deeper dives into seeing just how deep trauma goes for us in terms of how trauma can affect the way we think. We're finding through research how trauma affects our physical health too, and seeing how it affects our relationships. And so more and more, the neuroscience is showing that the trauma that we go through, any really distressing experience that just lingers with us, how it stays in our body. And these body memories almost, and we remember these things even if it's unconscious. And so, for me, I'm more and more taking on this journey of really diving into what is the neuroscience behind what we do. 'Cause I want to make sure that what I do is effective and it's helpful when we can see how healing from trauma, which is EMDR is perfect for, is how it's improving the functioning of our brain, how it's improving the functioning of our nervous system. I mean, we can see a lot of really beneficial things that happen. Research shows that EMDR can sometimes help reduce migraines, for instance. And so it's really helpful on just not only like a mental health level, but a physical health level. I think even sometimes a spiritual health level of like our connection with ourselves and our community and something outside of ourselves, how it just really brings about this healing on all types of different levels. And so it's fascinating work. It gets very deep very quickly, and I'm just feeling extremely passionate to learn more about it.
Mm-hmm. My next question is, what is the response been like from patients that, come in to see you and have discussed with their problems? what has been sort of the common sort of response or feedback that you've gotten from them?
Yeah, so I'm very blessed with the job that I have. I think a lot of people think it's quite difficult to just listen to traumatic stories day in and day out. Actually, I'm really blessed. They don't realize actually when you're in it with someone, just how positive it feels for both. And it just feels very uplifting for our spirits. And one of the blessings that comes with my job is I more often than not hear from the patients or clients that I work with just how great and life-changing therapy has been for them. Um, I've heard inspirational and been witness to a lot of inspirational stories of people being unemployed and not able to work because of something that they've been through for years. And then they go through trauma therapy and healing with me, and all of a sudden, like they're able to work again and be more of a part of their community. Had people that had a history of years and years, sometimes decades of abusive, unhealthy relationships, fall in love with someone that just treats them so well in the way that they deserve, because they've been working on this. People making big career changes just because they want something that's more in alignment with themselves. I think one of the most inspiring things I've ever heard from a client was when they told me that and disclosed to me that they didn't disclose in the beginning of our work that they had been feeling suicidal since they were a young teenager.
Mm.
And sometime a few months into our work, they told me this is the first week where I have not felt suicidal in decades. And to me, that stayed with me. It's quite emotional for me actually, because sometimes, in that way, I can see that the work that I do with my clients, most importantly, the work that they put into themselves and working on, whatever they want to heal from in order to live a better life and live differently, that, it can really be life-changing work.
hmm My last question to kind of wrap this up is what can other people heading into the mental health realm, what can they sort of learn to be more prepared to really dive into this and get this really fun but also complex field because, there are different the mental health field, people work with different populations, whether that's young kids to older adults to anything in between. So what advice
Mhm.
would you give those folks?
For people who are wanting to get into this field to like do it themselves, like offer
Right,
therapy.
yeah, to get involved in the mental health community and like start their own practice, etc., etc. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Well, first, I think it's so important to do this work for ourselves. Like I had mentioned earlier, that I was lucky finding such amazing therapist who was also kind of a mentor for me in helping guide me to being a better person personally. And because I know that had I not done that kind of work, I wouldn't be the therapist that I am today. I wouldn't be able to show up in the way that I'm able to now with my clients. And so, yeah, my first piece of advice is, if you're interested in doing therapy or getting into the mental health field, explore that for yourself. There's no shame in that. We don't have to have all the answers. That's the biggest thing. And I think it just helps us feel more connected with who we are, and that helps us be more connected with the work that we do. Um, and honestly, the other thing is also it doesn't have to be that serious. I know that sometimes like therapists day in and day out are hearing very serious issues, very serious life stories. It can be a lot sometimes to hold space for that. And so I think, being able to also allow yourself to play, allow yourself to have those moments of laughter with the people you're working with or people, with yourself, your loved ones, even. That is so important with bringing in that kind of light and joy into what you do too.
Mm-hmm. All right. Yeah, all right.